Hariom, good evening, a very warm welcome to all of you. Please come, let's pray together, seek blessings and listen to Aparoksha Anubhuthi. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya Mrityorma amrutam gamaya Sahana vavatu Sahano bhunaktu Sahaviryam karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Hariom Tat Sat Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. O Lord, the Almighty, the Omniscient, Omnipotent, Omnipresent, who also has the divine names KRATHUHU, to such a Supreme Infinite Lord, together with Shraddha, Bhakti, Jnana, Vairagya and Prapatti, we offer our humblemost salutations. To seek your grace, your love, your compassion, your benevolence, your affection, your strength, your forgiveness. O Lord, bless us with the divine qualities like Shraddha, Bhakti, Jnana, Vairagya, Prapatti and Mumukshutva in much more quantity. This is only and only to have the first-hand experience of thy true self. We all beseech in you to have the Aparoksha Anubhuti, in this very life only. And at the end of our lives, we merge with you. Our salutations to the Guru Parampara. Om Tat Sat. By the grace of Almighty and the blessings of the Guru Parampara, today we are on our Divine Discourse number 415 on the 25th of February 2025. Swasti Shri Krodinama Samvatsara Uttarayana Shishira Rutu Magamasa Krishna Paksha Bhauma Vasare Dwadashatito Uttarashada Nakshatra Vetipata Yoge Taitula Karani. On this auspicious day of Tuesday and the auspicious time of the evening, we all take a renewed oath with more intensity, with more samadhana. Naham karta, hari karta, hari preranaya, hari prityartha. It is that one consciousness which has enveloped the entire universe and creation, appearing as many. I, the Jiva, with ignorance, has considered it to be separate from the Paramatma. Now with this supreme and rare knowledge, I understand that I am nothing else other than the Paramatma, and in this process, constantly being associated with the consciousness, creating awareness in my mind, I affirm and assign all actions preconceived by thoughts to that supreme infinite being. O Lord, help me to stay in these thoughts on a constant basis and become one with yourself. Our salutations again to the Guru Parampara. Om Tat Sat. Good evening, everybody. A very warm welcome to all of you. It's yet another episode of Aparoksha Anubhuthi. What I could see was like rushing through the initial stanzas or shlokas was somehow not appealing, which I did in the Kannada discourses. It is, like as we say, there is one supreme reality and appearing as many. And the Lord says that you are none other than me. All the Upanishads, all the Vedas, Brahma Sutras, Bhagavad Gita, everything, every scripture has been proclaiming with all their might that all these beings, creatures are nothing but me. Now, if that is the case, then why am I not understanding it? Now, what fact drove me to get into this decision was taking this concept. Then if you analyze and see, every human being at the level of consciousness is the same, a saint and the most wicked person. They're equal in terms of being conscious, in terms of being a part of the supreme reality. Now then, coming back to the question, then why is that a saint is able to understand and stay in that divinity and experience bliss all the time? And why is it that the wicked person is suffering all the time? I'll give an example. There is a magnet and there are needles. Now the magnet is compared to the Paramatma and the needles are compared to the jivas, let's say. So in that you have the most wicked person as one needle and you have the most saintly person as other needle. Now the saintly person is attracted to the magnet, but the wicked person, not so good person, is not attracted to the magnet. How can this happen? When they are all needles made of the same metal, steel, iron, how is it that they are not attracted? The wicked people are not attracted because they are covered with mud. So what is that mud over here? The mud is like the kalmasha or the dirt which we have in our minds. So no sooner you remove the mud, immediately that needle will get attracted to the magnet. It is the inherent property. So this cleansing of our mind, I realized this plays a major role. Of course, with that thought itself, we had designed the program in such a way that we all chant Mahamrityunjaya mantra and cleanse our mind. So that is going on extremely well. So which means each and every soul is getting cleaner and cleaner and cleaner. Now what happens? I may focus on the other aspect now, the later aspects of Aparoksha Anubhuthi. In fact, there are about 15 techniques given, different techniques of meditation that comes after the 100 verse. But before that, this knowledge is given. First it starts with you are not the body. And then it starts telling about the Paramatma, Atman. And then it correlates and it says everything is one and you are that one. And then you go into that deep state of meditation. So in such a detailed manner, this entire text has been designed, curated. So I felt like if somewhere somebody is still missing on these sadhanas, what are prescribed, that is cleansing of the mind, as I say. If that is happening, then we need to pull up our socks and say, yes, I need to make these refinements in my life. Once we are established in this knowledge, then it doesn't matter how you are in life, because you have realized and you are experiencing. Mind you, what a person as a sadhak is experiencing, how can that happen, and things like that were also there in my mind earlier. But you will slowly see that gradual shift, provided you give your best shot. If you have, each one of us have a to-do list in life. To-do list, they say the bucket list. Now what is this bucket list? That I have to do these following things in my life. And normally they say the number is generally spoken as 10. Some have more also. Now it's not that you have a bucket list and you go on ticking one after the other. Oh, this is done, this is done, this is done. And in that, spirituality is also one of the aspects to tick. It is not going to work. You have to make amendments. Have only one on your bucket list. You never know when you're going to kick the bucket. Mind you. And of late, it's so much of a reckoning and awakening to us that so many young people are dying without any knowledge, without any prior intimation, or without any scope for us to even understand what is wrong with them. Suddenly we get a news that they are no more. In fraction of minutes. That's it. So knowing very well that this rare opportunity, this rare life, human life one has got, said, we must focus a little more on this. Okay. So now, what is the sadhana chatushtaya, the fourfold qualification required for an adhikari, for a sadhak? So one is he should be an adhikari, a sadhak. Second, it should be there is a vishaya. The third is the sambandha, and the fourth is the phala. So who is the adhikari here? The one who is studying this, who has the sadhana chatushtaya. And what are they? Viveka, Vairagya, Shama, Adi, Shat Sampatti, which are 6, so it becomes 8. And then the last one is Mokshatva, that yearning, that I said, yearning for liberation, moksha. Meaning I don't have anything on my bucket list, I have only one. Only one thing, one goal, one aim. See, when you have seen students, when there is when exams are fast approaching, do you see them doing anything else? I'm talking of the studious ones. They are not bothered about what else is happening in this world. They are only focused on their examinations. How I'm preparing. So that way, that strong yearning. So now, this adhikari has got sadhana chatushtaya. And what is the vishaya over here? Aparoksha Anubhuthi. To get that self-experience of the divine. And sambandha is, it guides the seeker from ignorance to self-realization, which is the text. It guides. And phala is moksha. So here, as I mentioned, Aparoksha Anubhuti is a text which is a pointer. As I told you, be it the most sinful person or a sage, consciousness is the same in everybody. So, do we have to believe that we exist? Somebody tells you, are you alive? For that you need to do some kind of a reckoning, understanding, or check with somebody, find out, study. No, restlessness. It is an experience to us. But then what is the greater truth or the greater story in this process? So now this Aparoksha Anubhuti will point these things out. So we were on the 6th verse. We touched based on the 6th verse and we went ahead. I am now going to take it once again. So let's do the 6th verse. Come. Because this starts with the qualities. Sadaiva vasanatyaga shamo yamiti shabditaha nigraho brahma vrittinam dama ityabhidhiyate. See, as you saw, the first two qualities are what? Vairagya and viveka. So, here, if you see Shamadhi Shat Sampatti, it starts with viveka and then vairagya. But here, specifically, Bhagavan Shankaracharya says, what one needs is that vairagya in life. That is extremely important. Because without vairagya, what happens is, you are not able to move ahead. So he somehow gives focus on this vairagya. And then, how did this vairagya come? It has come purely out of viveka shakti. Viveka shakti and vairagya are like, you can say, shades which are a result of each other. Viveka shakti says, constantly you think about what is permanent, what is impermanent. Just keep this one thing in mind. At every stage in our life, I'll take up viveka and vairagya a little more in detail after some time. What is the essence? Whatever you're doing, now is this permanent or impermanent? If this is impermanent, then why am I wasting my time on this? As simple as that. Once you start auditing all your thoughts, which thereby result in actions, then naturally you will see that a high level of vairagya will develop in you. And these two are extremely important for the next 6 Shama Adi Shat Sampatti. Shat Sampattis are the 6 jewels or 6 treasures. And the last one is Moksha, of course, which is our goal. So, here what? Shama is the first quality here out of the 6 treasures. Calmness of the mind. Mana sankochanam. The practice of stilling the mind and maintaining equanimity. Whatever be the external circumstance. See, I'll tell you, if you practice this, you will, as it is, become peaceful in life, which we all are yearning for. And of course, Vedanta, it says as a writing on the wall, Atyantika dukkha nivrutti. Atyantika means the highest of sorrows. Nivrutti means get rid of. Paramananda prapti. Enjoy bliss. So look at these qualities. So quietening the mind is Shama. Now, how can I quieten the mind when I entertain all sorts of desires? 100 little desires. I want this. I want that. I want to enjoy this. I want to go there. I want to see this. I want to taste this. Now you're filling up your mind with the desires. Naturally, when it doesn't come, agitation starts. And if you have given it, then again it will keep asking, see, it was such a nice time we had. When are we going next again? So, if with these kind of agitations, Vedanta goes out of the window, it will not stick to us. So, this is what one has to be careful. Like as Lord Krishna in the Gita, in the 2nd verse, 41st stanza, he says, Vyavasayatmika buddhi, buddhirekaha kurunandanaha. He says, O descendant of the Kurus, Vyavasayatmika buddhi means the intellect of those who are on this path of determination. Only they can achieve the goal. Rest who are irresolute, with many things in their mind, they will never be able to reach the goal. So, importance is, you yourself see, how you control your mind, especially when you are at, now this stage, when we have studied for almost sadhaks who have been there from the beginning, 1st April 2020. Now it's close to 5 years. Now Aparoksha Anubhuthi is our final test now. Now when we get this gist or the bird's eye view and we start practicing the different kinds of meditation, they are nothing very special, but let's go through the process. So when you have a grip on your qualities which you have, you re-audit them, you refurbish them, you re-establish them, then what happens is you will start having, along with this knowledge which is coming, you will start experiencing for what you have started this journey. So Shama, then comes Dhamma, control of the senses. Now that expanded version in Sanskrit is Indriyanam Vyavasthanam, regulating all your senses. Basically what senses means, its job is to indulge in the organs of pleasure which are external in the world, objects of the world. So once you restrain the external objects, and that is known as Dhamma, is the control of activities of the sense organs, basically your motor organs. A thought has come in your mind. You want to bash at somebody because they misbehaved with you. This is like a checkpost. Thought has come, you want to say something, but there you have a control. What is the first organ, motor organ? Vak. Vak pani padam upastapayu. So vak is the speech you are able to control. The mind said, yes, go ahead, give him a bashing, but you put a control. So this is that kind of a control at the level of the senses. Even though the mind has already accepted and it says, go ahead. Like I'll tell you some very inspiring stories, although they are at a different level, but take them as for example and say humans can do with practice. These are like the Olympic athletes, of the age. In the Olympics of spirituality, these are the ones like Tapovan Maharaj. Once King of Kashi comes to his ashram in Uttar Kashi, and many of us were lucky to have the darshan of the ashram, his kutiya. So King of Kashi comes, and as a king comes, he brings fruits, he brings sweets. So he gave a big basket of bundi laddu, freshly made with ghee, and it was mesmerizing. The aroma, the smell. Now all the students being, there were 5 students. Now they said, we are going to have a gala feast. Now Tapon Maharaj saw on how the faces were lit, the students' faces were lit. He saw that. They were all very happy to see the basket of laddus. So then it was, the king left, and then it was the usual discourse time, and they said, come, let's get on to our study. And they were studying. The students thought that maybe we'll get after the class. And then it didn't happen. Next day, they're all eagerly waiting for the laddus. It didn't happen. He didn't call for it. The 3rd day he called for it. Oh, I forgot something. Where is that basket of laddus? Swamiji, it is kept in the kitchen. Okay, go get it. So then, everybody is so into now, and the basket comes there. He says, come, let's go to Ganga Maya first. And so they went to Ganga Maya. He said, Ganga Maya wants to offer Nevedya to Ganga Maya and then give us. So they went there. And he told the disciple, drown it in the Ganga. Everybody were astonished. They were in a state of shock. See, 3 days they have been controlling themselves and dreaming about these laddus, and suddenly you see that the whole basket goes in the river. That was his level of control over his senses, dhamma. And he himself, like, how he used to eat? From bhiksha, they used to get food. There used to be some roti, there used to be some rice, some dal, some sabji. Now he used to take all of that, put it in a piece of cloth, and then take it and dip it in that river Ganga several times, and then bring that food back to the ashram and eat that. I don't want that taste of salt or that masala or that oil. See the way they have led their life. See, again I'm telling you, they are all the Olympic level. We don't have to compare, but we know that as a human they can do like this. Now this is another true story from the Belur Mutt, the main monastery of Sri Ramakrishna Mutt. Swami Turiyananda, who was a direct disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. Now in that main ashram, in summer, there is a tradition of making a cool drink out of yogurt. It's very sweet, it's very cool, like a lassi. And the tradition was that only one glass was prepared on a daily basis and offered to Sri Ramakrishna. And then each and every monk got that one glass as by turn. He got to drink the whole glass. Okay. So this was a pratha over there, and one day Swami Turiyananda was there, and one of the direct disciples, one of the disciples, he comes to Swami Turiyananda and he says, Swamiji, today it's your turn. Please take it. So this Swamiji took that glass and he had a sip. And then he gave it back. He said, no, take it back. Now that novice, brahmachari, he said something is wrong because nobody else has tasted. Only one glass and that goes to one person. He said, Swamiji, anything wrong? You didn't like it? And the Swamiji said, I like it. That's why I have given it back. He said, immediately the mind said it's nice. And the Swami said, stop. That's it. Give it back. One sip you took. It is nice. You're convinced with your mind. You're enjoying now. Give it back. See? Now, that's the way they have led their life. Complete lack of that external pravritti. Like, I shall go there, I shall do this, I shall eat this, I shall see that, I shall experience this. Pulling it back and concentrating on your one and one only agenda. That is what is meant by Dhamma. So Shama and Dhamma. Shama is the mind, Dhamma is the senses. See, again, it is not that we are asked to do in this way. No. As far as you take a call, see, we are on the privilege, like as you have, the special category SC, ST class, OBC class, we've got several privileges. We are like that on the path of spirituality. Grahasthas, we have several other things to take care of. So many relatives come home, many friends come home, well-wishers come home. So one has to take care of their well-being also. So here we have to see that anything which is attracting me, then keep away from it. That simple formula, that edge, you maintain that. I know this thought is coming to me. Then make it a point that you slash it. That's it. I'm not going to get enthused with this, because that will come when you enter your deep stages of meditation. That's why I'm saying this, and that is the reason these are important. When you go to those deeper state of meditation, what happens is these desires, which eventually after experience go back and become your vasana, then that vasana pushes through a thought, and that thought becomes a desire. So for that reason, you need to ensure that anything which is trying to disturb you to the slightest, make a point and say, I'm not going to experience this. Meaning what? It should be under my control. If it is under your control, then you do whatever you can. No harm. But if that is disturbing you and you are not able to stop, why do you do mauna? Why do you do upavasa? These are all control of your shama and dhamma. Indirectly, when there are so many nice things at home to eat, to drink, to enjoy, what you have put a restraint. And when you put a restraint, you are in mauna, you are meditating, you see for yourself, that's a check which you are doing. So that way, all these are only and only to ensure that you are going on the right path. So next comes the uparati, the third jewel. Uparati is sannyasatma tanmayataha, withdrawal from worldly activities. Activities in the sense, a state of withdrawal from worldly attachments and desires again. Now, what the shloka says, titiksha shubhamata. Okay, sorry, I've come to verse 7 already. So we'll, Shama and Dhamma is over in the 6th verse. Now I'll post the 7th verse and then we'll go ahead. Come. So having gained control over Shama and Dhamma, now in the 7th verse we go to Titiksha. विषयेभ्यः परावृत्ति परमोपरतिर्हि सा सहनं सर्वदुःखानां तितिक्षा सा शुभा मता. See here, it talks about titiksha sa shubha mata, turning away completely from all sense objects is the height of uparati. Rati means enjoy. Uparati means turning away. How? Very casually. Otherwise, this is more or less sounds like Shama and Dhamma, right? But here it is the height of Shama and Dhamma, which means you're not restraining yourself or really you're not controlling yourself, very casually. Like if a person has practiced upavas for several years. Now what happens is when there is a fast approaching or on the day of fast, he does not feel agitated or troubled, hankered. No, very casually the day goes through. Like when I had started, I was started somewhere in 92. So which is about now 32 years back. So that time, like the very, the thought that Ekadashi is coming, it is to create some kind of an uneasiness in me. That was a very natural tendency because it was difficult. And I did not start straight to Nirjal. I started with, first I used to have, say, one palahar, like you have some snack once. And then you give away that and then you only have fruits. And then you come to only liquids, and then you give away the liquids also. So you go stage by stage, not in a few weeks. Maybe you take several months also, it doesn't matter, but you have to be established, meaning it should go in a very smooth manner without disturbing you. That is uparati. So once you get that kind of a hold, then what happens is you will feel, yes, now this is making sense to me, and which means I have got control. Now it doesn't matter. In fact, you welcome, because you are so capable that day. There is nothing else to do. Otherwise, eating and all that kind of a stuff is kind of an engagement in life. That day you don't have anything. And also when you're not talking, you just imagine how much of time is there for your internal search. So that way, now this person has decided, okay, now I am there, I've controlled myself, and I'm practicing whatever is said, because this knowledge, as we know, it is something which cannot be explained by words, nor it can be seen or experienced by the senses. Then how do you understand? So that special strengths are required in us, which these are all the qualities. There was once a Swamiji who was the head of the institution, and a very important person was coming to meet him. He was to come somewhere in the afternoon, a very VVIP guest. Now, as you know, VVIPs, they always can say that I am late, and they just go scot-free. They don't even bother much. They don't even ask for forgiveness. So that VVIP was to come in the afternoon. He comes somewhere in the evening. Aarti time, about 6 o'clock in the ashram. Now Aarti is over, and the VVIP comes. So one of the junior brahmacharis, he comes running to the Swamiji and says, Swamiji, that person has come. So Swamiji says, tell him to go away. We'll meet tomorrow. That is his conviction. He says, this evening time is my time. I have completely dedicated it for my study, my sadhana, my meditation. Now I am not going to talk of worldly affairs. So this way, uparati is that withdrawal. As on a fasting day or as on a mauna day, you withdraw yourself from the world. So we can do that in small margins and slowly improve upon it. So imagine what kind of that uparati that Swamiji had. He said, I don't bother. Doesn't matter to me. For me, that Lord is important, not you. You didn't keep up your time. So, that sent a message that this Swamiji is very strict. He will not meet anybody in the evening. So this kind of a withdrawal is important. Now, withdrawal means again not that you are staying in some cave, some secluded place, you're running away from your city or your place, wherever you're staying, hustle bustle. No, you are withdrawing your mind. You're cutting from one society. And I'll just give an example. Now, being a grahastha, being in your daily life, now I made a request to my family, like my brothers, my sisters, and whoever are close to me, and of course my friends, that I won't be taking calls after 7:30. So now this is a message which you give. Meaning what? Okay, you switch off your phone, no, that's the end of it. And then slowly somebody gets to know. If anybody has that habit of calling you regularly at that time, there you make a special request that please don't call me at this time. We shall talk the next day, unless there is something very urgent. So this way you have to, not going into a cave, wherever you are, you have to make these kind of resolutions. So otherwise what happens? They talk to you and then they tell you something, and that thought goes on in your mind. And see, initially they may feel, what is this person doing? But then later on they'll appreciate. We are not able to do this. See, but this person is able to do that. Whoever can appreciate, they will appreciate, but people who cannot appreciate whatever you do, they will not be able to appreciate. So this kind of withdrawing inwards, and I again highlight, with ease. Withdrawing inwards with ease becomes uparati. Now, sahanam sarva dukkhanam titiksha sa shubha mata. Here, titiksha, endurance of hardships. Dukkhasya sahishnutam, the ability to tolerate pain, displeasure, suffering, difficulties with, important is, resilience and composure. This is another quality which one has to develop. That means that spiritual endurance, that fortitude. And for a fact, the world is going to hassle you, which it has been hassling all the time. It will constantly keep hassling you. And that's a writing on the wall, that's a promise. So, what are these things which hassle us? Let's just take a quick look at that. Tapatrayam. Tapa means difficulty, trayam means of three types. So, sahanam sarva dukkhanam. But at the body level, adhyatmika, adibhautika and adidaivika, that's the reason we say, when we say Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, for these three things at the body level. Now you want to do your sadhana, there is some discomfort. Somewhere there is a pain in the back, or there is a pain in your knees or in your leg or in your stomach, at different levels in the body, your head, or there is some lack of good sleep, some mental worries are there. What others are saying, why did that person talk like this? I was so good to him, and this is so bad to hear such things from them. All these are adhyatmika, means it is from your own self which are generated. Now if you start getting disturbed by that, the mind will become very happy. Oh, I am getting him under control. Okay, then it will throw another thought. So there you have to do titiksha, forbearance, with resilience. Now adibhautika. Adibhautika is from surroundings. You have your neighbors, you have your friends, you have your relatives, and they call and they say, come, let's go hang out. Let's go for a movie. Let's go, there's a nice restaurant and I've heard very good reviews about it. So now, you are suddenly off the hook. I give my own example. We were three very close friends, including me, meaning totally three, other two. And it was like, anybody can call anybody at any time, and we all three used to go together. Now it so happened that after this Vedanta, I refused several times. And then they understood, no, this person is not going to come. And they stopped calling. Now only they two go together or whatever. Now unless and until you make a resolution, you cannot get rid of this. Initially they'll feel bad, they'll talk to each other, but everybody gets a message that this person is not coming. Now see, for several years, not several months, several years we were going together. Wherever we go, you go for a movie, you go to a restaurant, or you go for an outing, you go for a holiday, you go for a pilgrimage, everywhere we used to go together. But now I have not seen their faces for several months and sometimes years also. So this way, invitation from neighbors, from friends, from colleagues. Now, here one has to watch out. They may say, what is this you are doing? I have got one person to please, and that is my Rama, or that is my Krishna. I don't want to go around pleasing everybody. And nobody cares a damn. You may think, what will that person think? That initially I was also scared about. What will they think? Nothing. They'll write you off. It doesn't matter. That is what we want. So my aim is that one infinite source. Now when I think about that discrimination, I know this is permanent, this is impermanent. How many friends I've seen in life? Like who were there all the time. When I was a child, I remember there were friends who used to eat with me, who used to sleep with me, get up with me. Everything was with me. Then after that you go to for studies, and there you have another set of friends. Then higher secondary you have another set of friends. So this goes on changing, and now we do not know where they are. At that point they were our life. So this is going to change. That is how the world is. So you don't have to, you should only know that I've got one thing on my bucket list, and that is understanding my true nature. Manifestation of the divinity within is the true goal of human life, as Swami Vivekananda said. Everybody, as I said, be it a sinner or a saint, the divinity is present right within. Only thing is we need to understand. Once there was a discussion between father and son. The father said, the son says, I've got about 100 friends. You have so many friends on Facebook, Insta. And he said, look, see, if I just post a message, so many likes, 100 likes come in my name. Then the son asks, how many friends do you have, Dad? The dad says, I have only one friend. What? Only one friend? What to do now? I have only one friend. No. The son said, he looked upon him, said, okay, where is one, where is 100 types? After some days, what happened? The son, once he was driving his car, he hit somebody and that person dies. Now, it was in an outskirts and nobody has seen. So now this person somehow, he puts the body into the car, in his boot, and he calls his friends. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Everybody is shirking away. Nobody is bothering to help him. He realizes that all whom he could call and request, he saw that it went blank. And then he goes to his father. Father, this so and so thing has happened. What do I do? Now the father tells him, look, I told you my friend is there, because his father was unwell. So he says, go to my friend. He goes to his father's friend, that one friend, and he tells him, uncle, so and so thing has happened and I need your help. So he says, come. I see you're exhausted, you're tired. Now, please drink something, have your food. He gives him food, he gives him water, and then he tells him, look, I am old. Now this is something serious which has happened. Okay, so what you do is, now I take the responsibility of this accident and you be away from this. Then the son realized, this one friend of my father, to what extent he has gone to protect me. This is the value of not having hundreds. You will always have within your community, within your group of the satsang, you will have more than one. And those are your true friends. Not the jolly lucky go guys. Have you not seen when you throw a party, you see new faces on that day, who otherwise were never seen. Now you have a group, you post a message on the group, and suddenly you'll see huge number of people coming up, which you don't see. Meaning those are all the fair weather friends. So those numbers don't matter. You have only one person, or even that one person is also not required. When you have that Lord on your side, it is like, जब मैं उसका जिक्र करूं वो मेरा फिक्र करे. He does that. You keep thinking about him, and rest all he takes care. Your fikr means he takes care of you. And this is my practical example, my own personal experience. So in this way, if you are going constantly in the world, you will be constantly disturbed with only these kind of engagements which make no much sense to your life. So these Adi Bhautika, there again, when you talk of titiksha, let's say your back is aching. No, I want to practice the titiksha now. I'm not going to do anything. No, that will be foolish. You have to, if you have to apply a balm, you have to take a hot or a cold pack, if you have to take some medicines, do that. Don't be impractical. But if you know, titiksha is like a thought comes to your mind, Arey, my daughter is not getting married, my son is not getting a job. No, don't entertain these things, because that is not under your control. So you have to judiciously know how to apply your mind in such situations. Now, like if there are mosquitoes and you have to put on a net, you cannot say, no, I am practicing titiksha and with mosquitoes I am going to do my meditation. That's not going to work. Or do my sadhana. No. So these are all at the level of the Adi Bhautika. And then when it comes to Adi Daivika, there is heavy rains, very cold weather, very hot weather, and then the internet is down. So these things are not under your control. So at that situations, whatever best you can do, forbear that. But ensure that you are in the state of, like as the Viveka Chudamani says, Sahanam Sarva Dukkhanam Apratikara Purvakam. Apratikara Purvakam means it is like you have to, without unduly running around to remedy the situation, using your common sense, see if you can find a remedy, entertain it. Like I said, your back is aching, apply a balm and move forward. But if there is a situation where somebody is ill, seriously ill, okay, now whatever you need to do to that person, you do that and then keep on your sadhana. You can't keep thinking about that person again and again and again. What will you do? Your thinking 100 times is not going to make that person better. So in this way, stay away from what is not under your control. Come, let's go to the 8th verse. Now comes Shraddha and Samadhana. Nigamacharya Vakyeshu Bhaktihi Shraddheti Vishruta Chitte Kagram tu Sallakshe Samadhana Miti Smritam. These are the last two jewels under Shamadhi Shat Sampatti. Nigamacharya Vakyeshu. Now, Shraddha. Asta Vivekatmika. Meaning having faith, a deep-seated faith and trust in the spiritual teachings and the entire process of the path prescribed towards realization. So now Shraddha is something initially you have to have that amount of faith. Nigamacharya Vakyeshu. Now a faith in the words of the scripture, faith in the words of the teacher, Nigamacharya. So that has to be not necessarily a blind faith, but it is with that proper understanding. Okay. Now you see, from a particular college, some students have come out and then they are very well placed in life. Then what happens to your faith? The faith enhances. He says, if I study in this particular college, I'm sure to get in these kind of companies. That's how the rating of the college, the Ivy League colleges, that goes up or enhances, is by what is the outcome. So in the same way, now if I follow the footsteps of so and so philosophy of darshana, then I too will be able to lead a life of what the other person is leading, whom you can see pratyaksha. So maybe I may not get it right now. Maybe I don't experience it now. But if somebody who had not experienced, and if he is experiencing now, which means I too, if I follow the same footsteps, will experience at some point of time. So this kind of a faith, this kind of a respect to the scripture and the preceptor, so that is called Shraddha. So now this Shraddha is extremely important in the in our spiritual life. Okay. Now we come to Samadhana. Now Samadhana is that concentration, focus. Manaso ekagrata, focusing the mind to achieve that single pointed attention. And purpose, because that's very important in your meditation and spiritual practice. Chittaekagram samadhanam iti smritam. So these expanded terms, which we call, they further delve into the essence of each and every virtue, and they overall give you a comprehensive understanding of their significance. Like when you talk of focus, there was once in Uttarakhand, in one of the ashrams, there was a retreat. You have these retreats, 5 days retreat, 7 days retreat, where you go to ashrams from the south, and then you, under a teacher, you study the scriptures. So this was when I was studying. I was able to talk to one of the students, and I asked him, what text did they take at the retreat? Now that person said Ashtavakra Gita. I was shocked. I asked them, are you all experts in Vedanta? He says, no, we hardly know anything. Then for all 7 days you heard to Ashtavakra Gita? This is one of the highest and most radical Vedantic text. He said, yes. Did you understand anything? That person, he was close to me. He said, I made a mistake coming here because I don't understand a single word. Now, which means you are asking a sadhak to focus on something which you are not able to, which is something which is beyond the capacity. So likewise here it becomes the role of the preceptor, the guru, the teacher, what amount of dosage of knowledge I should give to the students. Now, they may feel, oh, this teacher knows so much, which we cannot understand a single word. Look at him, what he's talking, what he's saying. Oh, that is not going to work. So that is not, whatever little focus you have, that will go for a toss. So this way, this samadhana, that one-pointedness, has to be in such a way that you develop from the scratch. So that's how you take the light text in the beginning, and then slowly with lot of stories you build up, and slowly you move as you go higher and higher. Then you withdraw from the stories, you withdraw from the casual teachings, you go to the core aspects. That is the way. So then what happens? That becomes a proper method to cultivate this samadhana. And for Shraddha and samadhana together, the best example I can see is Ekalavya, a young tribal prince. So who had a burning desire to learn archery, and he saw no other greater teacher than Dronacharya. But we all know that Ekalavya was not a Kshatriya prince, so Dronacharya outrightly refused him. Now see, even though he was outrightly refused, What did he do? He created an idol of Dronacharya. And keeping that idol, he practiced every day. So there comes the Shraddha. And that practice, believing that the Guru is sitting right in front of me and following the techniques of what Dronacharya was teaching to the Kshatriyas there, the Kuru princess, he then mastered over it. That was Shraddha and focus, that is Samadhana, dedication. So this way, he did not keep any blind faith, but he had that unwavering conviction in his teacher and that path which he was showing. So this way, that what we need is, when we take up something, as I told you, this is one thing on my bucket list. After I achieve this, I may do whatever it is. But till I achieve that, like as I said, till the exams are not over, I am not going to shirk from my study seat, which we all have done in our student life. Now tell me, what is that which we have not done with so much of Shraddha and focus? Like mothers especially, how much of dedication you need towards the child? Now you need to, do you need to remember every time that I have to do this, I have to do this? It comes automatically. That focus on the child. What time you have to feed the child? What time you have to do XYZ for the child? Isn't it a constant process? Are you going to take a list and then you say, okay, I'm going to tick this one after the other? No. That becomes when you imbibe that. So here what they say is Shubha Mata. Shubha Mata is when you consider that as Shubha means auspicious. Mata means consider. When you consider something in your life as auspicious, then everything is resolved. How much do you see somebody? It could be an actor, it could be an artist, it could be a businessman, it could be an athlete. What kind of focus and faith they have in what they are doing, and that's how they slowly rise. So not that we don't have, we all have enough of these qualities. Only thing is, we need to see that they don't disturb us from what we are ordained or we have made up our mind to do. So this way, Shraddha and Samadhana are extremely important for one's journey. And then the last thing comes is the mumukshutva. We'll take this mumukshutva and then I'll summarize all the qualities together. Samsara bandha nirmuktihi katam syanme dayanidhe itiya sudruda buddhir vaktavya mumukshuta. So samsara bandha vinirmuktihi, that liberation from the bondage of samsara. So here, how can I come out of this ocean of death and death? See, birth and death sounds good, but it's actually speaking, there is death and death. So samsara bandha vinirmuktaha. I want to get out of this. When and how shall I, O Lord, be free from the bonds of this world? That when and how, when and how, again and again you asking the Lord. Meaning, I want to come out of this. I don't want to get back into this samsara again. I have seen enough. I know how much it is giving me and how much it is taking from me also. So when you have understood that there is something higher to this, when you realize that there is something else. Imagine when you are young, a few years you enjoy hanging around, doing nothing. Your parents are there to take care of you. And then responsibility sets in and some nice time comes in where again you are in love with somebody. And that is again for some point of time. And then again there are so many challenges which come up in life. And then that love goes for a toss because you're all the time trying to solve those problems of life. And eventually you see that things go in such erratic manner. And especially when old age hits you, when your body does not support you with one problem or the other, then you realize and see, what did I get in the whole spectrum of life? If you think closely and you observe, that comes with viveka shakti again. So when I know that there is something better, oh, there is something permanent, there is something infinite, so then why should I not aim for that better? That's the only thing. Yes, life is good, but there is something better than this life. So when you have that kind of a reckoning, then that aspect of change, no, I want to upgrade myself. Like in any course, why will anybody, if you have the capacity, you will say, I want the highest level in this course. When you are studying, be it in the field of science or in the field of commerce or arts, you will say, I want to go for the highest. Why will you compromise in going for the lowest? So that way, one has to rise. And what is important here now with all these qualities, starting from the Haritoshanat, if you go right from the beginning, Haritoshanat, you have to have the sadhana chatushtaya. Otherwise, without that, you are swavarnashrama dharmena tapasa haritoshanat sadhanam prabhavet pumsam vairagyadi chatushtayam. So from the third verse, haritoshanat, one has to start building up. I'll tell you a beautiful story of none other than Swami Tulsidas. His name was Ram Bola. He was an orphan, raised by a maid servant. And during that time, he had a longing for singing bhajans. So his mother, who was a maid servant, said, I don't mind, you go and be with the bhajana mandali. So she allowed him, and he used to all the time go and be there with the bhajana mandali, learn bhajans, and then also to give some discourses. And she was happy about that. She didn't say, you have to come to work with me. And no, she was toiling hard, and she did all the troublesome work for the family. And she raised this Rambola. And it was time, Rambola was young. She said, you must get married. He said, okay. And then he got him married. Now, after some 1 or 2 years, she passes away. Now, see how this story goes. This person, Rambola, having done this sadhana of initial, as we talk of this viveka, vairagya, shama, adi, shat, sampatti, he was developing shama, adi, shat, sampatti initially. Viveka and vairagya was not there. If you go through this story, it's so beautiful. So, in most of us, first come the shama, adi, shat, sampatti. You have to develop those qualities. Like when he was on his doing his bhajan and doing his kirtan, he used to not have food or even sometimes water. So that was control over his mind, his senses, and that way. So now slowly what happened was that Ishvara Anugraha comes when you start developing on these lines. That's the reason they say you must fast, you must do bhajans, you must do kirtans, all that. Okay. So he was a normal grahastha, leading his life by giving discourses and bhajans. One day it so happens that he comes back home in the evening and he sees that his wife is not there at home. And then he says, he was a little worried. He was standing in front of his house. In the meantime, the neighbor comes and she says, Bhaiya, your brother-in-law came and he took your wife. It seems the mother is not well. So he took her. So it was in the neighboring village, just across the river. So he says, fine. So, but she also says she has cooked food and it is ready for you at home. He goes inside, he takes his bath, he has his food, and then he goes to bed. Now that carnal pleasure as a grahastha. So every night he was used to that carnal pleasure. He keeps tossing left and right, left and right. He's not able to control himself. And he says, anyway, she's not very far. It's just in neighboring village. He comes out and he sees it's terribly raining. Now this is a real story of the 16th century. Terribly raining, and then he says, doesn't matter. I'll go. Set to go. He goes there and then at the river, he asks the boatman there, can you ferry me across? The boatman says, what, are you foolish? See, the river is swelling, and in this situation you want us to take you across the river? No way. Why did you disturb us? We were happily sleeping here. And he's completely wet now, he's drenched. He looks at the river and see that urge in him, that carnal urge. He gives it a thought and he says, let's go for it, and he jumps into the river. Now he crosses the river. He swam the river across, and the village was on the other bank. He goes to his wife's place, and now he didn't want to enter through the main house. So what he does is he says, let me climb the stair, meaning climb the stair in the sense climb the wall. So he sees that there is a nice kind of a pillar which is stuck to the wall. That is the tree pillar, which is the tree root which was there on the wall. So he catches hold of that and he climbs up, and then he goes inside and he knocks the door of his wife's room. Now his wife, who is sleeping there, he says, who at this hour has come to knock the door? She said, probably my mother is not well, so something must have happened, my brother must have come. She goes and she opens the door, and she was shocked to see her husband Rambola. And then he said, what happened? He tells her the truth. Yes, I could not sleep. I've been used to your touch. And when he said that, now his wife, he says, if you had as much love you have for my flesh and body, if you had that love for Sri Ram, you would surely have crossed over the Bhavasagar. So it is in Hindi, she says, यदि तू मेरी देह के बराबर श्री राम के प्रति प्रेम कर रखित तो निश्चय ही तो भवसागर पार करी जात. So this way, that old Hindi, she says that. He didn't expect this answer. He says, tell me once again. She repeats it. Then he says, tell me once again. Now the wife could see that transformation in him. When he said the second time, And she knew that if I told him the third time, something catastrophic could happen. And she took a pause, controlled herself, and with that same conviction and force, she said the same words to him. And then Rambola said, Ratna, her name was Ratna. Ratna, now this is enough. And he says bye and he leaves the place. Now he was deeply struck by her words that underwent a transformative awakening in him. And he says that's when that Vairagya and viveka, it hit him. Shama Adishat Sampati he had already. Right from his childhood. He had that. But there are vasanas. Those deep tendencies which have come from life after life, they have come with you. So this was the transformative thing which happens. So this is what the Shastra, constant beating on us. It is trying to invoke that Vairagya and that viveka. It says, what is this? My body is aging day by day. How long are you going to get pleasure in this? Don't you realize that if this kind of a yearning you had, what you have for my flesh and body, if you had for that Lord Sri Ram, you would have crossed the Bhavasagar without any doubt. There is a wonderful story of King Bhartrhari. Now, Bhartrhari was a well-known king, and he loved his wife beyond extent. Again, this is one of the very strong characters which mostly humans carry. So the love was so great for his wife that she was everything for him. Now one day it so happens that Bhartrhari, a sage comes to his court, and then he says, "Oh Maharaj, I have this mango. It's a very special mango. Whoever eats this mango will always stay young." Now King Bhartrhari, he was not only just a noble leader, but he was deeply in love with his queen. So what he did was, okay, as a token of appreciation for my wife, I find nobody greater than my wife for this gift. He goes and gives that to his wife. Now, what happens? After some days, he finds out that this mango was with one person in the market. And he was shocked to listen to this. Because everybody is, meaning it was, somehow they got to know of this, his secret agents, and they brought the mango to the king and said, "This is here." Then he said, "With whom is this?" And then if you go back, what the king found was, the queen had an affair with the security chief. But now security chief, and it is the queen, so whatever the queen said, the security chief was obeying that. But the security chief had another lover. Now he went, the queen gave to that security chief, because she said, if you are going to remain young, meaning it will be always useful for me and I love you the most. So then the security chief got the mango. Now he did not eat it. He went and gave it to his lover, which is a prostitute. Now that prostitute, for money, whoever was a good customer, she gave it to him, which was a businessman. And now that businessman, he had another affair with somebody, so he went and gave it there. So now this chain, when the king got to know this entire chain, he said, "What is this world? All this is an illusion of that. There is no permanency in relationship, nor in anything." And he got fed up. See, that Vairagya comes in when such situations come. So whenever something wrong happens in life, Don't get disheartened. It is, God has got a reason for that. He teaches you a lesson. So what is this world? I thought this love is so pure, eternal, nothing, that ever-changing attraction from one person to another. That trust is not there, that love, trust, reliability. So all this world is impermanent. So he began, at that time, then that guru comes who had given him that mango. Then he tells him this has happened. He said, "Hey Maharaj, that is why I am doing this." He says, because there is nothing permanent which I saw in life. And then he understands the teachings of the scriptures. And he knows that these pleasures, attachments, possessions, everything is temporary. As far as they're there with you, enjoy them, no problem. But know that there is something higher. This you make a marking. Whatever we are enjoying, whatever we are experiencing, there is something higher. And if you are intelligent enough, catch the higher. This can change any time, but that higher, which is for sure higher, much, much, much higher, it will never change. Eternal. So he renounces. He renounces his kingdom. He determines that I'm going to cultivate the true Vairagya. He renounced his throne, his wealth, his relationships, and he became a wandering ascetic. He took shelter at the feet of these great sages in their ashrams. He learnt from them, and see what he does is, using his viveka shakti, that power of discernment, which he has seen for himself. He knows that now this eternal thing is this Satchitananda. That is what is going to lead to moksha, liberation, which is binding me for this suffering in this samsara. For that person, imagine what he must have gone through when all his trust and love went for a shatter. So now with that deep meditation, with that Vairagya developed out of Viveka Shakti, he composes the famous Vairagya Shatakam, 100 verses on renunciation. Great Sanskrit works. So this is like on Vairagya, this is Bhartrihari as is one person who has written this 100 verses on Vairagya Shatakam. Whatever I have said, it's all in a Sanskrit form. So I will not touch this subject. So meaning, this is something which one need not experience by ourselves. Everything need not happen to you. You know that there is anitya. Whatever we are experiencing, nitya and anitya, do that. It happens to somebody. I have seen so many rich people who dedicated their entire life to make money, but when they, at the last stages of their life, they don't have anything. They lost everything. So money is impermanent. Your health is impermanent. Your relationships. How many are there on your bedside when you are in your 80s or 90s? Look at, there are so many people who, unless and until they have got some good property, there is nobody to take care of you. This may sound a little crude, but elderly people who do not have anything to their account are hardly surrounded by anybody who loves them. So then what is there? Why are we wasting time? If you look at the life of those poor meaning this pathetic condition, elderly people, how much they slogged for the family. I have seen in my own, to my own knowledge, like grandmothers, when they are in their 80s and 90s, nobody is around them. But at some point they were the ruler of the entire house. So this changes. So be it your money, be it your health, be it your relationships, your possessions, everything is going to die down one day. For that you don't have to become old, you don't have to lose money, no, you don't have to lose relationships, no. This could happen to you one day. And simple formula is, there is something higher. So when you get with this, then you should do is, every time before acting, getting into action, take a pause and ask yourself, Is this action leading me toward my spiritual goal or away from it? Anything you do. Is this truly beneficial or just temporary pleasurable? Does this action contribute to my inner peace or it's going to disturb my mind? So in this way, when you start observing everything around you, your body, your relationships, your wealth, your emotions, ask yourself, will this last forever or will it change and perish? So if it is temporary, understand that attachment will lead to suffering. Because one day it's going to go. Why are you attached to something which is going to go? Instead of chasing temporary things, focus on what is eternal, and that is that Paramatma. Start getting that self-knowledge, inner peace and Brahman, then you have disconnected from this jiva. Whatever has to happen to this jiva, it will happen. So the body ages and perishes, temporary. Wealth and power fluctuate, temporary. But that Atman is changeless and eternal. Happiness dependent on external things are going to fade away and cause you misery. Don't get into that circle at all. That increase that inner contentment, rising in self-knowledge to the higher planes of consciousness. On this ground there is pollution. Go 30,000 feet above the ground, above the clouds, where there is pollution, where there is noise. So that way, go to the higher planes of consciousness. So when you apply this filter in your mind, you gradually start reducing attachment to the impermanent. So use this viveka in decision making. Just as Ram Bola, he goes then to Varanasi and there he gets a teacher. Having Shraddha and faith in him, tells him his story and he says, you have done the right thing. Come, I'll teach you. And then rest is history. Ramcharitmanas, everything he composed under the guidance of his teacher in Varanasi. See, so these kind of setbacks, one should not get disturbed. One should rise. That is only to invoke the viveka shakti in you. Oh my God, it's already 9:30, 7:30. Okay, that way, these things not only happening to you, you have to look at what is happening in the world. What has happened earlier, which you have not seen it, but it has come from relevant source. Take that in your mind and enhance that viveka shakti, the vairagya shakti. And these are all the shat sampattis, the practices. And why are you doing all this? For the final goal, which is mumukshutva, reaching that divine power. Anything happening in your life is for you to rise. Anything not happening in your life is again for you to rise. Don't question what the divinity has got in store for you. Only question yourself. Am I going towards my goal or am I going away from my goal? These two things you have to ask. Okay. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Let's read this shloka today and then do the Purnamada. Shri Harim Paramanandam Upadeshtaramishwaram Vyapakam Sarvalokanam Karanam Tam Namamyaham. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hariom Tat Sat. Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Together with obeisance, We offer today's Jnana Yajna at the lotus feet of the Almighty. Seek His grace, mercy and blessings. Naham karta hari preranaaya hari prityartam. Shri Krishna arpanamastu. Idam namama. Om Tat Sat.